The thing is, I feel like a proper scientist today. This is well fun. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now a little while ago, I think I was like in bed or something, just scrolling through social media as you do, and I got recommended this book. It's an ink making book, and I thought it looked very interesting, and I'm not the kind of person who usually buys stuff when social media recommends us to buy something, but for this, I made the exception, and I bought an ink making book. I thought we'd make our own ink, and what's interesting about this book is it's all about ink making, but from foraged materials, and I was very curious to see if I could actually make ink from stuff I already had lying around or stuff that was kind of grown around the farm or something like that. So let's dive in and see if I can make some homemade ink. Okay, so this book's called Make Ink, A Forager's Guide to Natural Inkmaking by Jason Logan. That's it there if you're interested. You can obviously Google it, look on Amazon. I think I bought mine on Amazon. And obviously I'm not going to read the entire book out to you because that would kind of spoil it and it wouldn't be fair on this person who's made this book. But inside it's got lots and lots of different kind of recipes and information about ink making and foraging and how to combine the two of them together. So the ink that I want to make and what I thought was most interesting is this one, a nice purple ink called Wild Grape Ink. And the name gives it away a little bit, but I will be using grapes to make this ink. And it's all completely natural. There's no like chemicals or anything crazy, which I find quite interesting. But also in here they have like yellows, whites, blacks, reds. You can make loads of different colors and they have all the recipes in here as well. I'm not sponsored by this book, by the way, or this person. I bought it all with my own money. I just found it very interesting. At the end of the day, this might be a load of crap and might not be worth getting anyway, so don't rush out and buy it just yet. Go, go, go! Okay, so we've got all the materials listed here and the instructions on how to make this purple ink. And the first thing I'm obviously going to need is some wild grapes. So I think first it's time to forage for some wild grapes growing in the northeast of England. That should be easy, right? And yes, obviously I had to go to the supermarket to buy the grapes because I don't have wild grapes growing around us. And I don't think many people in the world will have access to wild grapes just freely growing around their home or close to where they live. But fortunately the supermarket sells many different kinds. And that's one thing I find a little bit questionable about this book. Like, I don't know where this person lives, but they must have access to a lot of forageable, interesting materials. Because in here, one of the ingredients you need is turmeric. And I don't know is turmeric a flower or a spice? I'm pretty sure it's like a spice. Who lives close to where turmeric's wildly growing? Does turmeric grow? I assume it. What is turmeric? It's a bright yellow aromatic powder obtained from the rhizome of a plant of the ginger family used for flavouring and colouring in Asian cooking and formerly as a fabric dye. But not many people are going to have access to that, are they? But saying that, with this, it also tells you that you can substitute certain ingredients for certain other ingredients that are freely grown around where you are. That sentence came out so shitty. So for example, if you were wanting to make a yellow ink, I can imagine you could probably substitute the turmeric for maybe dandelions, and that might work. Possibly. I don't know. But it also tells you to freely experiment, and it kind of gives you a good basis of how to make certain inks if you are going to like swap and change recipes. But anyway, we'll make this wild grape ink. I say wild grape ink. Tesco's own grape ink. Okay, so I'm going to need a pot, which I've got here. I'm wondering whether to half the recipe because I don't know whether I'm going to be able to fit 600 grams of grapes into here. We'll just see. I'll see if I can get 600 in. So we're just going to stick all our grapes into here. I assume you're taking them off the little branches. It also didn't specify what kind of grapes, but obviously you're going to want like black grapes because they're going to give the best purple colour. Are these actually called black grapes? They are called black grapes. I don't know why. They're not really black. They taste good. Grapes are delicious, but they're so expensive. It's the same with cherries. I absolutely love cherries, but they're really expensive. And also, I know I've just had a video come out where I didn't wear the sunglasses, but I recorded that video before my eye swelled up and went all gross. And it started to go down now. I think there's still a little bit of swelling, and there's kind of like a little scabby bit on the top of my eye.
Oh my god, ew, David!
So I'm not going to get close and show you, but it's getting better on its own, so I'm very happy about that. If anyone wanted to know.
I couldn't care less.
If people don't know what I'm talking about, I had like a swollen eye at one point, but it's gone down now. Oh, actually, I think I will fit 600 grams in here. Okay, that's about 600 grams, perfect. And now we're adding 120 milliliters of water to the grapes in the pot. And now I think we're heating this up. Yes, we are. So apparently we need to heat this up to just below boiling. Cook for 10 minutes or until the liquid begins to thicken. Occasionally crushing the grapes with a potato masher. And then I think we can move on to the next step. Okay, easy enough, I think. I hope. This is taking absolutely ages. Is it even getting warm? Oh, it's still really cold. It's taking so long. I'm so impatient, it's unreal. Okay, we're finally making progress. Stuff is happening. It's boiling away. Is the liquid going purple yet? Oh, it's got a little purple hue to it. Oh, that's fun.
Such fun!
So I probably just want to turn that down a bit now. And I'm supposed to be mashing this, am I? Okay. I tell you what, this smells absolutely delicious. I feel like I'm making jam. Okay, that's looking good. Look how purple that is. I can't tip it too much, otherwise it's all going to pour out. There, you can see it better on that camera. So what else am I supposed to be doing? Heat just below cook for 10 minutes or until the liquid begins to thicken, occasionally crushing the grapes with a potato masher. So I'm looking for like a thick liquid. I'm honestly loving the colour already. Like, that's a really, really nice colour. If this works and actually looks decent, I'll be really, really pleased with myself. I suppose though, back in the day, when they were like making inks and dyes and stuff, this is the kind of stuff they would do, wouldn't they? They would use like fruits and, I don't know, different kinds of natural materials. It wasn't all kind of synthetic stuff. So there's no reason this shouldn't work. Right, I feel like this is getting quite thick now. I'll give it a couple more minutes just to make sure I get all the colour out. And then I think we'll be ready to move on to the next step. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I'll get this turned off. I don't need that anymore. Right, so our next step is to pour the cooked grapes and juice through a fine mesh strainer with a bowl underneath to collect the liquid. Discard any solids. A further round of filtering the liquid through a coffee filter should give you an ink that is quite easy to use. Okay, fine mesh strainer, pour that in. The thing is, I feel like a proper scientist today. This is well fun. It's just dead clever, isn't it? I don't know whether that's sad or not. I don't really care, but I'm having a lot of fun making this. Okay, I think that's done. Chuck that away. I suppose as well, if you were clever, well, not even if you were clever, but you could easily add some sugar to that, and I'm pretty sure you could make some grape jam. Other people will know more about that than I do though, so I'll leave that to them. Okay, so now I need to use a coffee filter. I don't even know whether I know how to use coffee filters. Oh, I think I do. So I'm opening that up like that. I assume just pouring it into there. Tell you what I could do with some like pegs or something, couldn't I? One sec. I'm just going to clip this coffee filter onto here just so it's a bit more secure. Wow, that's a bit easier, isn't it? I wonder why it goes through a coffee filter for. Coffee filter should give you an ink that is quite easy to use. But I feel like it's just the same, really. I suppose it might just be getting out any last little bits. Oh, I think my coffee filter just ripped. Well, these coffee filters are a bit shit. Try that again. And just more waiting around, I guess. But Rome wasn't built in a day. These things take time. Okay, well, I'll meet you back here once this is finally finished filtering, because I feel like I'm going to be sat here quite a while. Okay, so I finally got my filtered grape juice, and now what are we doing with it? So with this mixture, I need to add a few drops of wintergreen oil, or apparently you can put a whole clove in it, and that's apparently to prevent it from getting mold, which is obviously very important. What is wintergreen oil? What does it smell like? Oh, that smells horrible. What is that smell? It smells like something medicine-y. That's got a very recognisable smell, and I can't put my finger on it. Albus oil. Is albus oil wintergreen oil? Kind of mouthwash mixed with albus oil. It's very strong, so we'll add a few drops of that in. Don't want any mould in my ink. Gorgeous. And then just mix all that oil in. And now we need to pour it into a glass container with a tight fitting lid. So I've got a glass jar here. I'm not gonna lie, I can still see lumps in mine. I don't know why. But there we go, a handmade purple ink. All from almost natural ingredients, I think. So I don't know about that wintergreen oil. I don't think this was natural. Oh, I think it is. Yes, this is all natural ingredients. How fun. Now, the weird thing I find about this, and it says it in the book, is that I need to keep this refrigerated if I'm going to use it, which is a bit impractical. Like, are you gonna have a fridge full of handmade ink to obviously keep it fresh? I don't know. But I know we all want to know if it's worked and to see what it looks like on paper. So apparently this ink is supposed to be this colour, this nice dark rich purple. I feel
Like a little turd.
like it's not going to be as rich as that. I don't know, it just doesn't look as purple, but we'll soon find out. Yeah, it's not as purple as that at all. I knew it wasn't going to be. It's still nice. I've made more of like a red colour than a purple, and it's got bits in it. So that's what mine looks like, and it actually looks really nice. I really like the colour. But if we're comparing this to what it was supposed to look like, it was supposed to be this like deep, rich purple, which it obviously is not. But I think I could get that if I maybe didn't put as much water in. Obviously I followed all the instructions and stuff, but I might need a little bit less water. They're wild grapes. Might be more purple than Tesco's grapes. But I'm still pretty pleased with it, even though it's got bits in and it's not perfect and it's a bit pale and pasty. I'm still really happy I've actually made something from scratch from things that I just kind of, well, I haven't though, because I went to the shops and bought grapes, so I didn't even get the satisfaction of like picking them. I think if you were to forage materials and do this, it would be even more satisfying. But I still like the fact that I've made something from all natural ingredients. I think that's really interesting. Am I now going to start making all my own art materials from scratch? Absolutely not, because I don't have time for that. I don't think anyone has time for that. But that just about does it for today's ink making video. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you do end up getting your hands on this book and you make yourself some ink, let me know how you did. Did you do better than me? And the best thing about making homemade art supplies is you get leftover materials to snack on. So this has all been worthwhile. But anyway, I'll see you next week for a brand new video. That oil is so strong. It is literally ridiculous. I think I might have put too much in. But to be fair, now that it's drying up, that's not a bad colour, is it? That's not bad at all. I quite like it. I feel like it's dry and darker. It's definitely still got little bits in it, but it's not too bad. I'm kind of pleased with myself.